Hello everybody, this is Strawberry Singh. I am back to do an update to my OBS tutorial from 2017 because I've gotten numerous requests over the last week. Please look in the description of the video. There's going to be a link to my blog post on my blog, and I will have all these instructions written out, and I will also have some more information about uploading editing your videos and other things. So, click on over for all that info. Let's get into it because I really want to keep this video short. To set up OBS Studio to record your Second Life screen or anything else that you want to record or stream, go to obsproject.com, go ahead and download and install it. And then once you've downloaded it and install it, it's not going to look like this because right now I already have a scene and source set. It's probably going to be blank here for you. So first thing you want to do is you want to go to your settings. You're going to go to File and then Settings. And we're going to go through these one by one, and I'll try to be as detailed as possible. In the General tab over here, a lot of these settings are pretty straightforward and will be based on personal preference, and they do not affect the quality of your stream or recording. You can quickly see the settings that I have. I don't think I changed much from whatever the default was when I installed it, but you can go ahead, read all of them, and change whatever you want to change. Next settings we're going to look at are the stream. I use Restream when we're streaming our Second Life videos. We use this program called Restream, and that sends the video out to YouTube and Twitter and Facebook and LinkedIn. But most people usually stream to YouTube. So you want to set up your streaming, you can just go to YouTube. You want to go to primary ingest server, and then you want to use the stream key, and you're going to copy the paste the stream key from your live dashboard from your YouTube Studio. Make sure you hit apply, and then you are ready to stream. Next, we're going to look at the output settings. Now this is where it gets really good. First thing you want to make sure is you go from simple to advanced. Change that to advanced. In the streaming section, I only use one audio track. If you want to use multiple audio tracks, and then when you're editing and different things, you can do that, but I keep it simple. I use one audio track, so you're just going to select one here. For the encoder, the X264 is the one that is recommended, and that's the one you should use. I use the NVIDIA NVEC because I have an NVIDIA graphics card, the GeForce video card. So if you have that, I highly recommend you use this option over here. Rescale output, I have it unchecked. I think I told you guys in my last tutorial that to check it, but you can check it and check and choose 1920 by 1080 if you want, because that is the full HD output that YouTube prefers now. And if your computer can handle it, you can, can't handle it, you can reduce it. But I just leave that unchecked now. Array control for streaming, you want to use CBR, which is constant bitrate. CBR is a recommended setting because it makes the encoder always run at a constant bitrate no matter what the scene, and you really want that for streaming for sure. The bitrate I use is 3500 kbps. Keep this bitrate below 50% of your maximum internet upload speed from your ISP. I have like 20 Mbps upload max capability from my ISP, but I find the 3500 kbps to be sufficient, so that's what I set it at. The keyframe interval, you want the recommended setting is 2, which is specifically used for Twitch and also helps you with YouTube as well, so I keep that at 2. For preset, I have it set to max quality. You can reduce it if you have any trouble with the streaming. Any lagging or anything like that, you can go in there and reduce the quality if you want. For profile, I have this set to high. Often the recommended setting is main, because main and high profiles deliver better quality video than the baseline option here. And main is better for smartphones and tablets, whereas high is better for larger screens. So I just have it set to high, but you can go with main if you prefer. And the rest of the settings on this page, I left them as is from install. I didn't change anything there. The next tab we're going to go to is recording. So if you're recording one of the dance videos that we're doing these days for the dance challenge, you want to make sure that you have the type set to standard. And the recording path is where you want to save your video, so you can go in there and pick whatever folder you want it saved. This is your personal preference if you want to generate file names without a space. So I record as an MP4 because it's easier to use it in other editing softwares. Like, you know, if you're going to be using it in Adobe Premiere or what other editing software you use, you don't have to take that extra step to convert it. But if you want it like a raw file, it'll be a little bit better quality. You can save it as an FLV, but again, you'll have to go through the whole process of converting it, and it's really not that huge a difference. If you do feel like it's a huge difference when you save it as a raw file FLV, then stick with that, but I stick with MP4. Audio track again is one. My encoder again is NVIDIA and Venk, but you can of course go with X264 if you do not have an NVIDIA card. I again leave the rescale output unchecked. This custom mixer settings are blank. So this is the important part. For recording, I use a VBR, not CBR. And the bit rate I do is 3500 kbps regularly. Sometimes I like to be wild and crazy and boost this up, and I notice a little bit of a difference in quality, of course, but usually 3500 is decent and it's okay and it'll do well. Sometimes once or twice I've went up to 10,000 because, you know, that's my idea of living a wild and crazy life, and I like the quality and I kept it at that. But honestly, you really don't need to. It doesn't matter. So stick with 3500. You can mess with it a little bit to try it out to see if you can, you know, get it any better, but 3500 is good. Max bit rate is 10,000, which is fine. And I think the rest I left it as is. Preset, of course, max quality, profile high, just like my streaming options. That's how I add it. For audio, 128 is the lowest that you should go. The higher you set it, the better quality sound, but of course more bandwidth is used, so you might get like that, you know, a little bit of skipping and so forth on your streams and recordings. I keep mine at 192 for recording purposes. If you have a better microphone, then make this a little bit higher to get better quality sound. I just leave it at 192. I don't use the rest of the audio tracks, so I leave it as is. I don't enable the replay buffer because I don't use it, so you can leave that as well. So now we're going to go to the audio tab here. You want to make sure you want to save the sample rate as 48 or whatever the setting is for your microphone settings, and you can look that under your devices for your mic. But I think most of the time people just have it at 48, so you'll be fine there. And stereo is the channels. Over here I leave the desktop audio and the mic as default, and everything else I have disabled. And I don't think I changed anything else aside, because I don't enable push to talk, so you can leave that as is. I didn't change much from the initial installation. So for the video, you want to, I save it as 1920 by 1080 most of the time, but you can of course record it at your baseline resolution, which I do have a bigger resolution on this monitor, and once or twice when I did record a 2K video, then I use that resolution, but I just kind of stick to the 1920 by 1080 just because, I mean, I'm just posting that everywhere and that works for me, so I stick with that. I think last time I recommended you guys set this to Lanczos, however it's pronounced. I've changed that to bicubic only because I didn't really change it after I'd installed it, and I figured it works fine for me. I think for gaming, bicubic works fine, but if you're using like a webcam or something for streaming, then you might want to go with the 36 samples because it's a little bit sharper. But I think for our purposes, the bicubic should be fine. And the common FPS, I have it set to 30. You want to stick to 30 for that as well, especially if you're streaming in some places like LinkedIn. They won't even let you stream higher than 30. So you want to keep it at 30, and honestly, you really don't need more than 30 FPS for streaming unless, you know, you want to go crazy. You can go higher, but just remember that. Let's see, what are we doing next? I don't set the hotkeys at all. You can go in there and set your hotkeys as you like. For the advanced tab, I think last time I recommended above normal, and currently I have it set to normal. They both seem to work fine for me, so it's your preference. I think I just stuck to normal because that was the you know, installation default. And I think sometimes I hear that if you put it on above normal, it can be a little bit more taxing. So totally your call, however you want to set it. But I've been sticking to normal and it's fine. All of these are pretty much the same as last time. So you can see here what I've done here. And I don't think I changed this whole section from the default installation. So you can go into details and change any of this, but I think I've left this pretty much as is. And once you have updated all your settings, you want to make sure you apply and press OK. I don't want to apply because I messed with my streaming settings. So once you've done all your settings, you want to, it's going to be a blank here. Right now you see my Second Life over here, but because I've already set up the scenes and the sources. So it's going to be blank here for you. What you want to first do is set up your scene. So you're going to hit the plus sign, and let's call this the test scene. And when you have a test scene over here, I'm going to move it up a little bit just so we have it at the top. This is what you want to show on your stream. This is your scene that you want to show. And you can have all different kinds of scenes. As you can see, I have like different intros and things that I use for when I'm doing, you know, my shows on the other channel. So I'm going to set up a new scene here, test scene, and then you're going to put a source in that scene. And you're going to ask it to, you know, grab some sort of source. So when you click the plus sign, you'll get all these options. I think if you're using a Mac, you don't get some of these options. Like you can't do a proper game capture on a Mac and different things like that. I could be wrong, but see it, if you don't have that, then you're gonna have to stick with display. I like to do a separate game capture, and then we'll just call it, you see I have some before, but I'm gonna create a new one and call it test game capture. And then it's gonna ask me to choose the game, specific window, and then I'm gonna do Second Life. There it is. And there we go. Now it captured my second, because I chose the specific window. I chose Second Life, and I think that's pretty much it. So I'm gonna press OK. So now it's capturing Second Life, but it's all weird because it's like really huge and not fitting in. I'm just gonna expand this a little bit. So what you can do with OBS is you can actually have a whole bunch of different scenes in one source, or a whole bunch of sources in one scene. So I can size it if I only want to show some of my window, and then I have like other sources here like a webcam or something else that I want to add to show a bunch of things. I can do that. But for Second Life, this is a full, I can only get about this much just because it's not, my monitor isn't 1080p. But this is how you can, you know, resize it and do that. I don't like to always show my, you know, all my UI that's up there and the toolbars. So sometimes I stretch the image out a little bit, and then I stick with something like that. And that's my games. That way I can, you know, hide my address at the top. So you can like go ahead and play with the sizing and how much you want to show of your game. So that's, you know, that's a great option to have. And that's pretty much it. Once you've, you know, set your window and what you want to show, you can then hit your start streaming or start recording button. One thing you want to make sure is you want to make sure your mic and your desktop audio are set up properly. So currently you can see it's already showing my mic stuff over here. So you want to make sure you go into the properties over here and you pick your correct microphone. I just have it set to default. I don't want it to pick up from my webcam, but that's not my default microphone anyway. So it's picking up from my headset, and I'm all set there. And then of course the desktop audio is picking up all of the desktop audio and anything else that, you know, any other kind of sound that's going on the desktop. If you feel like, I always try to do like a test recording, and just to see if I have a guest on and I want to make sure their microphone sounds the same as my microphone, so not one person is not louder than the other. And I noticed that when I was using my microphone, I always sounded a little bit softer than the guest did. So I boosted mine to 10 dB over here, and I just did that by going to advanced properties, and I just made my microphone 10 dB. And ever since I did that, I haven't had an issue of, you know, me sounding softer than my guests. For some reason, my microphone is a little bit softer. So that fixes that issue of uneven, you know, sound. You want to make sure that everybody sounds about the same, or your desktop audio is the same as your mic. or a little bit softer. So you can mess with those settings in the advanced. Also, you can, when you're transitioning through scenes, like sometimes when I'm doing a lab gab, I want to start with a cool little intro or whatever, and then I want to, move over to my game screen. And when I do that, I can add a little bit of a fade. So when I'm transitioning through the scenes, you can, add some seconds here, and so it's a little bit smoother rather than an abrupt kind of move over. So that's pretty much how that works, and that's how you set up your scenes, sources, and you start recording, and you're all set to upload your videos to different social media. If you click over to my blog post, you will find other ways how I edit videos to like cut them into portrait sizes and so forth to upload to Instagram Reels and TikTok. I have and I'm going to do another video showing that as well. And of course, these settings are just things that I've kind of messed with and figured out on my own. If you have better advice for better settings, please leave them in the comments. I always want to improve the quality of my videos, so please share your knowledge, and hopefully we can all learn together. And that's it, guys. It was great to be back on this channel. Hope to do some more and hope to talk to you guys more. I'll talk to you later. Bye.